So the part of the year in Dublin isn't going to happen as Liverpool crash out of the Europa League against Atalanta. And I think you've just got to say Atalanta deserved it. 100% thoroughly deserved it. For me, they were the better team in the tie and they were the better team individually in both legs, home and away for them. Liverpool struggled against them. Atalanta nullified all the things that make Liverpool good. They did a perfect job, apart from maybe the opening 35 minutes in tonight's game when Liverpool actually started pretty sharp. Now, you could see what Atalanta was so good at last week at Anfield in terms of going man-to-man and playing really high, going man-to-man on the two centre-backs, and then also going man-to-man on Endo and McAllister. And they just really stopped Liverpool from playing out at Anfield. They were trying it again tonight. What Klopp and Linders did brilliantly, I thought, was trying to counteract that by having Liverpool players being as kind of fluid in their positioning, trying to be dynamic, how they move around, trying to drag Atalanta players out of position. And it worked to a certain extent. You know, those opening exchanges, Atalanta looked less comfortable than they did at Anfield. And Liverpool actually looked more comfortable, they were certainly more dynamic. They looked like they had the potential to move the ball around at pace. I think one of the big differences is from at Anfield when Atalanta forced Liverpool to go long all the time, and we had Keller in goal, whose distribution isn't fantastic, and we weren't structurally set up to go long. Tonight, we were able to go a little bit more direct because we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold back in the team, whose distribution is just unbelievable at times, and you can just see the difference he can make. The way he moves the ball around, the way he can kind of get Liverpool from defence to attack really, really quickly with really accurate balls, but also balls into space, kind of forcing the opposition to stretch the defensive line, inviting Liverpool forwards to try and get in behind, all this kind of stuff. I think Trent did really, really well in those opening 30 minutes or so. After that, Liverpool obviously got the early goal, the penalty, and then that kind of flurry of chances never happened. And you could see maybe Liverpool's legs and their desire to do that quick, dynamic interchanging of positions. I think that could only last a certain amount of time. And Atalanta kind of, rode it out. Liverpool lost that kind of impetus, and the kind of narrative of the game changed a little bit there. Obviously, one of the big talking points of the game is Mo Salah. He missed a really, really good chance to make it 2. If that goes in, I think the game changes a lot. It's kind of inexplicable. It looked like a really easy chance for him, for a player at his level. And I think it bounces off his ankle or his shin. He doesn't make contact with his left foot as cleanly or at all really with his left foot, but he doesn't make clean contact, and the ball obviously goes really, really straight, doesn't get the direction, the pace that he needs on it, and it was really disappointing from Mo because we expect such great things from him, and he was kind of anonymous for a lot of the game tonight, and that's been that way for a lot of Mo Salah's career at Liverpool. It's not like he's always involved, but the fact that he's on there and he's such a threat means it's worth having him on there, because when there's a big moment, Mo Salah usually steps up and makes that moment count. And tonight, it didn't happen, and I think quite rightfully he was subbed. Liverpool subs usually we've found that they can make a big difference in a game. Tonight, barely registered really. I think the issue was structure. Liverpool didn't really seem to have a plan B. We moved into a 4-4-2, but the way we were playing was very, very similar. Alisson's on the ball. I wouldn't say he was ponderous. I think he was just devoid of options. But I think when you've got Gakpo on the pitch and you've got Darwin Núñez on the pitch, these are tall boys and or both, both good in the air, and we're maybe led to believe that, especially with Darwin Núñez coming to Liverpool, that there's the ability to have a plan B, ability to do something a little bit different. And we've never really seen that when he's been on the pitch. I mean, obviously there's a lot of opinions about Núñez, about what he can do with the ball and stuff like that, but I think it's been disappointing not to see Liverpool maybe choose to go more direct. It didn't really happen tonight. It hasn't happened in other games when we've maybe been struggling in a similar way. Structurally, it just seems like we're not really set up for that, which is a shame because, as I say, Gakpo and Núñez in particular are really, really good in the air, and just think there should be a switch that can be flicked there for situations like that when you get into 75 minutes and what we're doing, it obviously isn't working. Atalanta were not going to get dragged anywhere. They were supremely confident in what they were doing and their game plan, and it just didn't really work. And at that point, I think you've got to try something different, and it didn't happen. All we did really was, as I say, change the formation slightly, put some different bodies on the pitch who just weren't really able to affect the game at all, really. So it was disappointing to watch. It kind of just petered out the game, and before the match in Klopp's presser last night, he was talking about, if it's not going to happen, let's fail beautifully, let's go down swinging, and it just never happened like that, which was probably the most disappointing thing, about the entire endeavour, really. Not the fact that you get beat, that happens in football, it just, you can't win them all, can you? So where do Liverpool go from here? Well, there's still 7 Premier League matches left. Like Manchester City and like Arsenal, who've both had big disappointments in Europe this season, Liverpool have got to look to these last 7 games as a collective cup final. They've got to approach these games in a different way. And Liverpool's season is in danger of petering out in the way that this game petered out tonight. And I think that would be such a shame when we found ourselves in such a great position this season in the Premier League, when no one really, ourselves included, I think, no one really gave us much of a chance of having a title challenge, really. It was going to be more of a transitional season. And we're in such a strong position, and I really, really hope that not only can we get 3 points against Fulham this weekend, but, really kind of try and put in a performance that will instill a bit of confidence in the players, in the fans, and maybe have this one last push and just see how far we can take it. Can we take it to the last day of the season? I'd love it if we could. I think that would be a success, but it didn't happen tonight, so you just got to say congratulations to Atalanta. I hope they go all the way. I really do. But I don't think they will with that kind of football that they play. I think they've got to be a bit more expansive. But against Liverpool, it worked. Let's see what happens. Still plenty of play to play for in the league. So, up the Reds. Let's keep going. Let's keep the faith.